What up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you.
I think we all kind of thought that Aaron Jones would be what he's been, but Jamal Williams' production is much higher than it ever was previously. What have you guys done that's really suited his game, you think?
Both those guys have done a great job, and I think just kind of involving both of them, it's not, you just don't lose a step when Jamal goes in there. So I think just kind of continually splitting it, keeping them both fresh as possible is always going to be critical. So I think those guys kind of play off of each other and support each other, so it's always great.
Nathaniel, I understand it's a copycat league. They always say that about the NFL. But in talking to some of your guys, it sounds like you guys do a really good job of, led by Matt, but you as well. You see something, you think, okay, that's something that we can incorporate. It might work against this upcoming opponent, and you guys seem to turn it around pretty quickly. Is that a fair description, one? And two, can you just, without giving away game plan stuff, can you give us a glimpse into how your process works for you guys to do that?
I think, every week you study an opponent and you always want to try to find the things that they're susceptible to, or the things that you think that what you do can work against them. And I think that there's always whenever you watch a game and you see an amazing play, you always want to be part of it also. So you never want to miss out on something good. And I think there's a lot of great coaches around the league, so everybody's got different vision, and you always want to try to push yourself to grow as a coach and not just stick in one world. So I think there's always this fine line of doing something exactly that way, or maybe putting your own spin on it, or doing it out of a different look. So I think every week you always try to find the things that you want to do and want to attack a team, and then you just kind of let it evolve. You might not have the same guy on your team that another team has, but you want to try to take advantage of it. So you just try to be as inspired and then creative throughout the whole week. I think that's what we do for a long time throughout the day.
Nathan, you remember the play where Rodgers told Geronimo Allison to sit down, and he threw it out to Jimmy Graham over Kuechly's head in the Carolina game? Is that something that he does on his own, or is that within the offense? If this were the traditional offense that Matt brings in, is that something that would be even available to him, or is that something he brings to?
I would say for us, we always have kind of a groundwork of what we want to get done and how we want to attack a team, and then but at the same time, we don't want the guys to be robots. I think we still want them to play ball. And I think Aaron is one of those guys that he's got so much knowledge and he sees so many things that we might have planned for something and it might be a little bit different. And we always want him to feel as though he can do something else, or if the guys see something. So we're always trying to adjust. And we never want a guy to be a robot. We always want them to just be able to go out there and play ball. So in that instance, it worked out really well. And it was something that we had kind of planned and talked about, and it was noticed, and got a big hit on it.
Can you take anything from your game plan against Robert in 17, or is the personnel different? Is he a couple years?
2 years ago, they were a much different team, I think. Right now, they're rolling. They've got a lot of good players all across the board, and they've been in the system longer. That was early, and I think that they're mixing a lot of different things up. It's not just one kind of look all the time. So I think Robert's done a great job mixing it up, and so I think you always kind of go back to everything and kind of look at different things and see what fits.
As heavily as you guys as a philosophy rely on the running back, could anybody have done what Aaron Jones is doing for you guys?
It's hard to take anything away from him. His ability to smell the end zone is unbelievable. It's something that it shows up. I give a ton of credit to the offensive line and their ability to open up those holes. And then it's always important that once you have that opportunity, to take advantage of it. And Aaron has done a great job. And it goes to the tight ends, the wide receivers, all the guys. So I think it's just kind of been a culmination of the whole group working together. But it's hard to take away. He has a knack for the end zone, and it shows up.
We've asked Matt obviously about his long-time relationship with Robert. I mean, has he texted you back this week?
No, we're trying to, nobody's talking. Yeah, it's funny, we laugh about it, looking at, there's so many people on that staff that we've all worked with. Matt's brother's there, I worked with Robert, worked with John Benton. There's even more guys on our staff, from Stenovich to, Coach Outen. There's a lot of love on that side, besides this week. So, but it's gonna be fun to see them all.
To make it interesting though, because you guys know each other so well, there's obviously personal relationships, but schematic familiarity because of that, it's turns more toward the player in a way. I know it's always about execution, but in this way, it almost feels like it's more so because of how much.
Yeah, of course, it always does come down to the execution. I would say that first and foremost. But it's one of those things that's going to be hard to, trick certain guys that know you so well, and there's so many commonalities. And I think it's just going to be about doing what we do and having the guys execute at a high level. If they can do that and they're confident in what we want to get done, we're going to have a chance.
So we asked Matt a series of questions about his brother and how he wanted him on his staff, and Kyle blocked him. And Matt turned it into a soliloquy on how great Nathaniel Hackett is.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
But, I thought he was pretty sincere about it. You guys did not have much, if any, history together before this. Can you give us a glimpse into how that working relationship has worked? Because it seems, you're 8-2, your offense has hummed pretty well. It seems to have worked out okay.
I think we have a great time. I think that's the biggest thing. We work real hard in this business. It's a very unique business. And I think to be able to keep it light and keep it fun, but still be able to work is critical. And I think that getting along with Matt has been awesome. I think he does a great job, and just the whole staff together has been awesome. Up to this point, going back to when we talked a long time ago about kind of putting together the whole group, I think it's just been awesome. There's so much humility, within the group to be able to get it all right and get it done the right way. And it's always hard, a first-year staff, to get to know each other. And it's been awesome, everybody getting to know each other. And relationship with Matt is awesome. I just can't say it. It's awesome working with him and working for him. So it's fun.
So as awesome as it is, what was the process like? You're in a supportive role. You're not calling plays. You guys have different ideas. You come from different strains of the West Coast scheme and that. What was that process like early on versus where you guys are kind of now?
I think it's kind of me always wanting to try to get whatever I can get for Matt, and Matt to Aaron. So I think it's always that process of trying to get what we think is going to work the best for our team right now. I think that's the key thing. It might not be what Matt's done in the past or what I've done in the past, but it's about what's right now. And I think that both of us have that mindset. So it allows you to work and collaborate, talk about things that you might have done, do something that you've done in the past and potentially make it better. And I think as long as you always have that mindset, you're going to continually grow. I think that's the key.
Do you need someone to seize control of that number 2 receiver job, or can you go week to week as kind of that, the guy of the week? Maybe it's Lazard, one week maybe it's MVS, kind of rotating it through.
I love just the whole rotation that we've got going on. I love the more guys you can get out there. I think it's so critical. Keeping guys fresh, especially as we come down the stretch, is so critical. And just to have the ability for everybody to have different scouting reports on each guy and giving them a different challenge. So I think the more you can do that, it's always going to be better. And then whoever's rolling, you want to be sure they keep getting it.
So do you have an idea, like ahead of time, that this is going to be Alan Lazard's week, or is it one of those things that midway through the first quarter you kind of figure out how it's going to go? How does that work?
I wish you could always predict exactly who's going to do something really, really well, or be able to execute each game plan. But it really is. It's all the way throughout the game. It's just kind of the flow of how you're calling plays, of how you're working through it, or who's attacking one guy maybe a little bit better than the other. So it's all about adjusting and just being sure to do whatever that person's doing as much as possible.
I asked Matt the other day what needs to change to clean up some of the false starts on the offensive line, and he just said the word focus. But you have 4 pretty experienced offensive linemen. Is it simply just focus? You think it'd be focused all the time, or is it something a little more than that?
I mean, I wish you could say it's something else, because then you feel like you can put your finger on it and fix it. It's one of those things that it's not one guy, I think. Like you can't sit here and say, oh, it's that one person. You know, it's just every now and then. I mean, it's a crazy game, and when you want to get after the guy in front of you, or the crowd's loud, or you're excited, I mean, stuff happens. That's part of the game. It's just about calming down and being able to play that play, and I think that's the most important thing, and that comes to the word focus. I mean, that's what we need.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.